What's going on, guys? This is Bubba Marbury. I sit down with real blue-collar Americans. We talk about life, money, fulfillment, and the blue-collar dream. Today, I'm sitting down with Jeremy Chaplic out of Arkansas. Owns a moving company. Just sold off a few of his contracts. Looking to get into solar. Let's get balls deep. If we would have had a fly or a camera on us, a hidden camera, I'd probably be in a mental institution right now with some of the shit that comes out of my mouth.
Me and Darren talk about that shit all the time. The things we talk about in the truck, and I'm like, either we'd be like the most famous influencers on YouTube
Absolutely.
ever, or we'd be locked up somewhere. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
I'm gonna go with the locked up somewhere in a state asylum, because I say some shit that I'm even kind of like take myself back a little. I'm like, damn, did I just say that? Now I laughed. It's not that I said it. I laughed about it.
And then I was like, wait, that was out loud?
Yeah. Oops. My bad.
Oh man, the shit Darren and I talk about, I'm like, that will never be. Jeremy's a good little Christian boy. Do you know, talking about the same Jeremy?
Yeah, it's like the first time I met you, I was like, he definitely looks like a youth pastor. He definitely looks like a youth pastor. And then fuck comes out your mouth. I was like, okay, he's not a youth pastor. It's all right. It's cool. It's good. It's good to get that persona off to people, because people are like, oh, Jeremy's such an innocent little guy, you know? And it's like, go eat a dick. Fuck you.
Actually, so the thing is, like, about it coming off a certain way, image or whatever, I just want to come off as, like, clean cut.
Clean cut, that's right.
Because that's just, I just want to be my best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best version of me is just kind of someone that's, presentable, takes care of what they say, kind of, I don't know, like, that I could go home to mama or I can go out to the club.
That's it. It's like, what's that, damn, it goes for the ladies, but it's like lady in the streets, freak in the sheets, you know what I'm saying? Kind of the same thing, but with a man.
And I really want to be, the thing is, I really want to be like, look, I am a nice guy. Like, I'm super freaking nice to everyone I talk to. You'll never see me online hating on somebody unless I'm trolling a buddy or some shit.
Yeah.
But they'll never see me go up to someone and be like, oh, new Mercedes? That sucks.
Yeah.
It's ugly ass color. You know what I mean? Like, no, that would never happen. Because I want the best for everybody. Because, the best for you is probably the best for me, and we're all doing better.
That's right, man. I think when you want the best for everyone, the best happens to you in return. I believe in karma, bro.
Big time.
And I think a lot of people
energy you put out, you get back.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't think enough people believe in this shit.
No, I think it's real shit, though. I mean, I've been in situations where, like, $8,000, $10,000 of payroll coming out, and I'm like, and on Wednesday when it's supposed to come out the next morning, there was like $900 in the account.
Hey, bro.
Or I got $500. And then like 6 people call me at the same time, but hey, just submit that invoice, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to you for 2 weeks. You've been
That's
ghosting
right.
me, and all this crap. And then all of a sudden just always comes through,
And I've been like that early on in business, man. We had crews to be getting paid out. We had, $25,000, $30,000 coming out that week, and I had like $2,000 in the bank, and I'm like, all right, we gotta make something happen.
How big is the overdraft on my account?
Yeah.
Like $600? Oh, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, so that's the thing nobody talks about when it comes to being when they're on the climb to being successful. Is they just automatically assume you own a business. They see you making a lot of money. They automatically assume just have a shit ton of money just laying around. And most of the time, it's not even that way when you're in your early stages, because you're using so much capital to keep going, so much capital, and you're still trying to figure out what all the capital you got coming in. What are you going to do with it? Like, what should you allocate the money to? You should do it to more marketing. You should do it to building a bigger sales team. But nobody that if you've never done it, it's hard to speak out against it. And I feel like not enough people's ever done it enough, so it's hard for them to really speak out against it. They just like to give their opinion on it because they just don't fucking know.
Oh yeah, and I think that too. A lot of the like the people that we talk to in Blue Collar Alliance and everything.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody, but like me, you, 90% of the people in that group probably. They're not gonna be quitting some corporate job that's paying them $350,000, $400,000 a year, and they've been working it for 5 years, and they've got $600,000 in the bank, and then they quit and they start with that.
Yeah.
I quit my job and started with $200. That's all I had. Started with it. I just used my electric bill that month, pushed it back another few weeks,
Yeah.
and then started the LLC, and then just got into it.
Got going.
And that's how and looking back, that's so dumb. I got kids and mortgage and electric bills and utilities and car payments.
But it panned out pretty well because you took that risk. A lot of people are scared to take that risk.
Yep.
Same with me, man. When I started the roofing company, I was negative 2,800. Ain't have a pot to piss in, went and throw it out of. Repo man done pulled up, pulled the car out the damn driveway. It was my only option. So I was like, I gotta make it work. And then when you go into it with that mindset, is you know that nobody could just come in and take it from you when you have to make the shit work.
And
because that's your only option.
Oh, yeah, and I didn't create a freaking business. I created an income because I had to.
Yeah, same with mine.
That's just what it is. Like,
same with mine. But yeah, so when we went into that, that's when the cleaning business took a downfall. Did you have like a hard time during COVID keeping business?
So actually, no. During COVID, since we were small, we were adaptable, we were quicker than everybody else. Everyone was laying off workers, all their delivery crews and moving crews that were in-house for the furniture stores that we had, because they couldn't deal with the ebb and flows of having the employees need them one day, not need them for 2 or 3 days at a time. So I came into these companies and said, hey, look, those guys you laid off and you need them tomorrow, but the next day you don't, let us take that burden from you. Yeah. We'll come in and like, hey, you might have 2 deliveries tomorrow, you might have 10 the next day. Let me handle that. We come through and we did that with every company, and we like fucking tripled, quadrupled during COVID.
That's awesome. So a lot of people didn't do that.
No, because everyone was afraid. I just ignored it. Yeah. I just went to work.
Just worked. Because you had to make it work.
I had to make it work. Like we just you can say you can argue about mask, not mask, anything like that right there, but we put mask on. We walked up in there, knocked on the door. Hey, this is so and so with your delivery. Come on in the house, you know.
Come on in and get it.
Come on in, you know. As long as you're not coughing all over them, they didn't care. Yeah. They want their new bed.
That's it, man. And I think a lot of people use the COVID as a crutch to not scale and get bigger. They use, we can't do this. They use the scare tactics. And some people were truly scared. I mean, I use it to my advantage, COVID. I used it to my advantage. I had a cleaning business, and
I remember your cleaning business. It was popping.
Yeah, we did a lot of COVID cleanings, and we used it to our advantage because, again, I got laid off from a $200,000 a year job, and I had nothing. I had a little girl on the way. I had to make money somehow. So, when the opportunity came, I was like, fuck, I'm looking about the cat, But I went into it with the wrong mindset. I went into it with, like, this is going to be my thing to carry me out of the refineries, and it wasn't. Because we know how COVID played out.
Oh, yeah, you had that oil job, that line checking or whatever.
CWI inspector, welding inspector. And it just didn't pan out like everybody thought COVID was. And it still blows my damn mind seeing how many people ride around with masks on or walking through Walmart with masks on.
To each their own, you know what I mean?
Scared. Blows my mind.
Yeah.
So, moving business, what areas of Arkansas do you cover?
We cover like Fayetteville, Bentonville area, Walmart land, University.
Nice.
That's all our area. But we're regional. We'll go to Missouri, Oklahoma. We come down here. I was down here.
Go all over the damn place.
All over. Don't matter. We were down here a couple weeks ago doing a job for.
Who's y'all doing down this way?
What's that?
Who's y'all doing down this way?
Just a local family in Northwest Arkansas. Bring it down. We come down here usually. Dallas has the. It's like the marketplace furniture down here, all the high-end furniture, stuff down here, come down here and get it for a low. Then they go back up there to Arkansas and they'll sell it at their boutiques and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Because we don't really have the manufacturers and the supply chain that Dallas has that Northwest Arkansas customers and clients, they crave, but they don't have the selection up there. There's like 2 high-end furniture stores, maybe 3 in the whole area up there.
I got you.
Down here, there's 30 on one street.
They're everywhere.
And, there's certain clientele that wants a $2,000 side table. That wants a $12,000 club chair. That's what they want.
You gotta go get it.
And you got to go get it.
I'm about that. This is random and off topic. It just hit me in the head. You ever met a girl from Arkansas named Charlene?
Charlene. What's the last name?
just any name. Her first name's just Charlene. You ever met anybody from Arkansas named Charlene?
Yes.
Because I feel like it's a good, southern name. But I've never met anybody in Mississippi named Charlene. I don't know why that question just popped up in my head, but I wanted to ask.
One time.
Yeah. Was she redhead?
I remember her being not blonde, brown or red.
Oh my God, bro, that's like the cream of the crop right there. Redhead, and her name is Charlene.
Easy, Bubba.
Jesus Christ!
About to get excited.
Man, I'm gonna have to leave my woman and go find her. That's the cream of the crop right there, bro.
the inner Bubba's really coming out.
That's it. Woman of my dreams. I'm sorry. That's a little off topic, but man, I just had to ask that question. It just popped up in my damn head.
No, that's funny though. Like we were talking about earlier about the nice guy approach or whatever.
Yeah.
being different than what people stereotype you as. You know, I'm like quiet mostly because I'm trying to learn around people.
Exactly.
So I try to shut the hell up and just say, hey, I'm trying to soak in information. And then I also am allowed, then I can like discover is, hey, this guy bullshitting or is he good? Either way, the less you talk, the more people can't say about you, basically. And you want to kind of speak softly, carry a big stick kind of deal.
Yes, right.
And my deal is, hey, Jeremy's a really nice guy. He's really chill and stuff, but he's a fucking killer. Like, that's what to me is like, I remember one time, it was a random competitor in the marketplace. I was super young. I was the youngest area manager ever for Dr. Pepper Snapple Group. And he came up to me. He's like, so you're the guy. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a guy that tries to be the guy. He's like, no, I applied for your job. And I made it to like the very last interview. He's like, and they picked you. He's like, I was like, oh, my bad, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was like, no. He said, all I hear is you're a fucking killer. What are you?
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, I said, I just get in there and grind and work.
And
period.
And one thing you got, just because I've known you for a while, is you got the ability to sell and build a relationship. That's one thing I have on my side is I'm able to sell because I can build relationships. And I think a lot of people don't put enough emphasis on building relationships. When they're selling, they're just so focused on
Closing
and the money and what they're going to make off that deal. But you know, the relationship, that's going to get you the referrals. That's going to get you the more revenue coming in. It ain't about the home run on that deal. It's about the home run that's going to come.
No one ever plays the damn long game.
They never.
Like, you want to go in there and let's say you're working with another company or whatever. Let's say they, a builder, you know, and you want to do all their roofs, you know. And you're like, but most guys will come into your position and they want to get freaking loaded tonight, rich tonight off one deal. You'll mark up all your costs, all your materials on him, all this stuff right here. And then you're like, and then he's like, well, damn, I really like this Bubba guy, but he tried to get rich off me on one deal.
Right.
And another thing, people are like, man, how do you sell? What's some tips and stuff? The tip I have, you actually have to give a shit. You actually have to care about the customer. Like, yes. I really like, that's the thing is like, my customer the other day, old lady, really picky. I gave her a discount to help out the realtor, you know, stuff like that. But she's a great person. At the end of the day, she's just a person that needs help with something.
That's right.
At the end of the day, period. And you got to do her the best you can.
And you had to help her.
Yep.
And when you get put in that position, we do that. We do a lot of work with real estate agents as well, especially when they go into closings, or we'll do as soon as they lock a house up under contract, we'll go in and inspect the roof and do like an exterior inspection and kind of tell them, like, look, here's some areas of concern, how your roof needs to be replaced. You know, if they still have homeowners insurance, this is the steps we could take to make that happen. But if you get the problems resolved now, when it comes time to close, it's not going to hold up the closing. Yeah. And so we go in and help a lot of real estate agents that way. And people, and we don't go in and charge. Now, if it's an insurance claim, we charge insurance money. But if it's somebody's paying out of pocket to fix the repairs, man, we ain't hardly making no money. I usually charge labor, material, small profit margin, just kind of pay us for our time a little bit. But man, we're not trying to get rich off of them because we're gonna make our money on the back end with the replacements and the commercial jobs, the referrals. That's right.
Like a lady the other day, she called and she's like, "Look, I've got to move out of state, way out of state. I didn't make as much off my house as I wanted to, but I'm older. I need to go out there. I'm moving back to where my family's at." And she's like, "Can you come work out options with me?" I was like, "Well, we can move you out of state. We're looking like $8,000 for that." I said, if you're on a budget, I said, here's what the steps we can do. Okay. And I broke down the steps. So we could either put her in some pods. She can order some pods and have them shipped out there to the house. And then we probably load them up for $600, wrap them up, whatever, put everything in the pod. They come out there, U-Haul or one of the pod guys, they'll come out and ship them out there. And then she'll pay another crew $300 or $400 to unload it. Okay. And then plus the pods. That's probably $2,000 or under. Or we can really deep dive into stuff you don't want and you do want. And we can take loads to the Goodwill, loads to the dump, get it all cleaned out. That'd be around $1,000 or a little under. And then you can just take the things you want. You can do that as well. And you can really, when you go into the client to meet with the customer as a problem solver and not a salesman, shit is a lot easier. And you're going to sell anyway because you're solving the problem. The problem is, yes, are you going to make $1,000? You make $5,000, you make $10,000, whatever. At the end of the day, you're still going to close somebody. It's still going to be worth your time to be there.
And I think when you have options like that as a business owner, because we're not a one-stop shop. At first, when we started, we were just running insurance claims just to get our revenue up. Then we got into retail, but then a lot of people can't afford just out of pocket. Not a lot of people have $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 laying around just to replace
for a
the
roof when the
You know what I'm saying?
everything is expensive as hell to even survive.
And then, so we added in financing, and they're going to pay out of
nice.
pocket. We tell them, now we got more options. Like, hey man, keep that insurance check, finance the roof now. Like, we live in a poverty state. Mississippi's a poverty state, and
Maybe they could use that check to pay off credit cards,
exactly,
and have a lower interest on that roof loan. And it's kind of in a way, it's like consolidating debt in a way.
Yeah,
but you get a new roof.
You get a new roof. We solving all the problems. So we just lay out all our options to them when we go in and lay out the estimate with them. Because we don't. At the end of the day, it's hard to tell somebody, hey, look, it's going to be $20,000 or $25,000 to replace your roof. And a lot of people just don't have that laying around.
Oh, yeah.
Every once in a while, you might get one of them.
Have a guy that's
big
just like,
ballers,
hey, I've been saving for this roof.
Yeah, I've been saving up for 10 years. To pull a little $5,000 out of my 401k to get this roof done. You can make it happen. So we give them a better price. We give them the cash price. We give them those lower profit margin prices, because we're not trying, like I said, we're not trying to make a killing. We're not trying to rape this man on his money. He needs a new roof. We can solve that problem for him.
And it's another job that keeps the crew busy.
Keeps the crews busy, man, and moving forward. Oh, man, so.
And one thing, too.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing I was going to say, too, when you come across those customers that are, like, hard to deal with, or you have to pull a lot of strings to make it happen, or you make it where, like, this roof is a pain in the ass because they're low margin, the customer's really picky, they have no money. Sometimes those hard critics or the hard customers are some of your best freaking referrals.
You're right.
I got one lady that runs high-end store. She's just a really picky lady. That's her life. She only deals with very exquisite, limited items, and some of this furniture is only 2 pieces of it in the whole planet. So we deal with her, and when we first started talking and working with her, she's very picky, and most guys, laborers like us, were like, just get out of the way, let us work, we'll be all right, let's work,
right.
But you have to understand, this is her life, just like your business is your life. Mm-hmm. So when she comes in and says, hey, I need you to be very, very careful of that marble piece there, because, well, there's only one marble piece on the whole planet of that exact type, because it's 200 years old. It was from an old church from England or something like that.
Yeah. Came over on the Mayflower and shit.
Yeah, but for real, And most people that she's dealt with, be like, oh, she's so picky, or she's annoying, or she's hard to deal with. I'm like, no, it's just her business, and she's running it how she wants to run it. And then guess what? She sends me so much business all the time because I meet her needs. I let my ego out of it. I don't say, oh, lady, I've been doing this for 5 years. I don't need your help on it. I go in there and say, hey, is there anything about this piece I need to know? Does it disconnect somewhere weird? Is there a shelf that looks attached but actually comes undone? And then she'll tell you, and then she'll break it down with you. And it actually comes apart here in the back, and you can take it out, and you can carry it easier or something like that. Always be willing to get that ego out of the way, learn from your own customer, and then to be able to fulfill their needs even better.
And I think a lot of people don't do that. They don't ask those questions like that. Where is there a certain place it could come apart? They don't ask those questions because maybe they've been in business 10 years and they think they know and seen it all.
Or they're scared.
They're scared. They might be looked at like a dumbass.
Yep.
A lot of people don't ask questions because they're scared they're going to be looked at like a dumbass. I know I found myself like that sometimes. Early on, because I didn't want to ask questions, but then I was like, man, you know what? I don't give a shit about like a dumbass. I'm going to ask questions. If I don't know, I just don't know.
Yep.
And you won't ever know unless you ask those questions.
Yep.
So how long have you owned the moving business?
This will be 5 years.
5 years?
So
Okay.
right at 4.5 years right now.
Some pretty big clients?
Yep. We
Yeah.
do all the work for like University of Arkansas Medical Science. It's a really cool client to be able to put a feather in your cap. Those guys are really cool. And once again, that was just out of a referral. Well, kind of. I was doing a subcontract job for a tech company, and I just once I started my business, I'd always helped them on the side and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I was doing a job there one day, and the director of operations walked by. He was showing us this room. He's like, "Yeah, I don't mind this mess. I'm getting some crazy moving quotes. They're just too high, so we're not going to worry about it." I was like, "Oh." I was like, well, this is random. I just do this on the side because I've always done it for these guys, and I really respect the owners and what they do for the business. But I actually own a moving company. They're like, oh, you do? Yeah. I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, well, let's talk after when we're done with this, and then we'll get you set up in the system as a vendor and everything. And then I came under. A lot of people, too, I think it's a very good lesson in this, what I learned here, is that I didn't come through and just charge them 6 figures in this job because it was the University of Arkansas. Yeah. I charged them what I would charge anybody.
That's
right. I looked at the time, materials it would take, the labor, and I mapped it out, and I just gave them a quote. And we won the bid. but it's because everyone else saw University of Arkansas, and they're like, "Hey, sir, take that quote, double it, send it on over." And then they said, "Hey, you want the bid?" And
Yeah.
after that, I just do all their work for them now.
Because typically stuff like that is they get multiple bids. They get multiple. Like,
If it's anything over, I think their limit is 10,000.
10,000.
So they can, so they can use me for whatever they want, as long as it's reasonable. But anything over 10,000, they have to have through their like resource board or whatever.
and that's how it is when we do government work. So we do anything
Makes
for the
sense.
county or the city. They have anything over 5,000. So we do repair work for the counties for their roofs and their exterior work. So anything over 5,000, I got to get multiple bids.
Yep.
And then they can pay out without getting architect approval up to 75,000. So it's similar. So multiple bids, and a lot of people do this with county work. People, it might be a little different in county work.
Yeah.
Because they know the government's cheap. So
Yeah.
everybody's gonna come in really lowballing, which we come in fair. But same with that is when you see that university name, a lot of people think, all right, well, I'm gonna throw in a big bid. They know somebody else probably gonna throw in a big bid, and they know somebody else gonna throw in a big bid because they see the name university on it, and they're like, we're all gonna just make a. They're gonna have to pick somebody out of the three.
One of us will make money,
One of us will make money, so just throw a big number out there. I think that's the wrong way to do business. If you just got to be fair and just, reasonable with people. Make your profits. Hey, we got certain profit margins we have to hit. You as a business owner got certain profit margins you got to hit. Anybody with any realism about them, they will know that you have to make profit. You can't operate as a company.
Yep.
Right? We kind of. No, it's not getting. That's probably too personal, but on the back end, are you able to meet your profit margins even with helping out a lot of people and continue growing and moving forward?
So yeah, I'll kind of break down a little bit because my business was a hybrid furniture delivery and moving business for a while, up until recently.
Mm-hmm.
The furniture business deliveries are all flat rate. Hey, take the sofa for $130 across town to bring it to this apartment, and we try to do that multiple times a day and enough times to make a profit. Those are notoriously low margins.
You got to get a lot of volume.
A lot of volume. And then you got to have either your guys on a set rate or you got to have killers that are just popping them out. I mean, you got to do 8 deliveries a day per truck, per team, at least to make any money. On the moving side, it's quite a bit more profitable. There's a reason why there's national moving chains like Black Tie Moving or 2 Minute a Truck. But there's not national furniture delivery teams.
Yeah.
There ain't no damn money in it.
No money.
I mean, you're talking about, 12% margin sometimes on the furniture delivery, but it helps you kind of gets you going. It kind of gets you that business established. But after and I realize this now that I can see the forest from the trees from being out of it the last few weeks after I sold my contracts. Now that I only focus on working with my interior designers, my new builds, and my realtors, and only doing moves and design work, it's a whole lot more profitable. You're probably looking at kind of what you're similar to, like 40% gross margins.
And I think, with your overhead, I don't know what your overhead looks like, but with your overhead, 40% is a good number because, we try to hit 42 to 45%. That covers our overhead, and then we're able to really pay out to keep commission, full commission, project managers and full commission. Sales reps, you got to be able to pay out pretty good to them because it's hard to keep somebody.
They're not going to come working with you, and they can go make $5,000 off this other company. And you're like, well, we try to give our customers a deal. We can only pay $2,000 commission. You're like, okay, well, good luck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why work for me when they go to the next company and work and make shit ton more.
Yep.
So we got to pay our guys good. We got to pay our crews good. We got to keep the ball rolling. And the only way you can do that is make a decent profit that covers all that.
And see, that's one thing. Sometimes that in my mind that I made a mistake maybe early on in business, playing the long game. I was so focused on building. Didn't matter if I took 2 losses a day. If I get 1 win in a week from now, which is sometimes not a terrible way to look at things, but at the end of the day, your business has to make money, or it just becomes a prison.
Man, you hit the nail on the fucking head when you said that. It will become a prison and it will entrap you, and you can't get loose from it.
Nope.
The only thing you know how to do is, and it happens. That's why most small business, I think, it's 50% or some shit. Maybe it might be a bigger number than that shut the doors within 5 years of opening.
Yeah.
It's because of that right there.
They get pigeonholed into like trying to get all these different clients, trying to grow. And like, yeah, I was obsessed with hitting 7 figures, hit $1 million as soon as I could,
Nice,
I was
yeah.
just like pushing. And I realized the whole time that what's it matter if I had to spend $950,000 to freaking get there,
That's right.
And then like looking back, we had partners, I had 2 partners for a little while, about 2 years ago. And one of them bounced, and then my other buddy, we just decided to split because he did one area, I did the other. No big deal. But I 1,000,000% see why. I'm not hating on him. Hey, that's the deal. At the end of the day, his time and resources, money could have been spent making money at a bigger margin in other ventures. And now looking back, I'm like, hey, no hate on him. You know what I mean? And now that I run it 100% my way and the way I want to see it, and blocked out the deliveries and focusing on the core experience with the client,
That's right.
it's a lot better now.
I think partnerships are hairy, man. It's like you either got to be on the same page when it comes to whether it's scaling and growing and the end goal, or what can they bring to the table that you don't? What can he do that I can't do, or what can she do that I can't do? And I'll be honest with you, man, I haven't found anybody like that. I can just hire somebody to do something I can't do. To me, it's much more affordable that way.
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation with several people. I'm like, why bring in a partner when you can hire somebody to do the thing that you suck at? Because I'm like the shittiest person in my company. They'll tell you. Anybody that works for me, they'll tell you. They're like, Bubba.
I agree. No.
They'll tell you that Bubba's the shittiest person in our company. It's like, I taught them, and then I kind of forgot about a lot of stuff. And right now we're working on hiring an in-house estimator and insurance person just to work them full time. The way I don't have to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
To be honest, because I'm trying to scale. I'm trying to focus on what can I do to grow the business, help more people. Because at the end of the day, I'm got really passionate about my business because I found out how I can help people with roofs. And the money's cool too, but it's helping people, especially when a hurricane comes in.
Need.
Yeah, somebody comes, and a hurricane rolls in and wipes out, the whole coastline, and you're able to go in there and help these homeowners get back on
The
their
roof is
feet.
ripped off, and it's been pouring down rain
That's
on their
right.
favorite items from their childhood or from their grandmother,
Man, it's
and
so
stuff like that.
sad.
And you're helping them. You actually bring life back to their house, and make it a home again.
Yep, it's tough walking in them houses in those situations when you have, like you just said, had walked in this one particular situation sticks out in my mind. We walked into the house. It was her mother's house. Her mother had passed. Family still on the house. Ripped the roof. I mean, took every shingle off the roof, and whole inside was flooded. This was after Hurricane Ida, and everything from, like you said, their childhood was just ruined, man. And she was living in Mississippi. This was over in Louisiana, and it took her a couple weeks to get over there, check it out, and mold had already started setting in.
Quick, too.
And so mildew and mold, and she was, man, it's hard to walk in there, and you want to comfort them and you want to make them feel better about it, but sometimes it's a shitty situation. And
Yep.
I'm not like the most sympathetic or empathetic person. I really try, but I get awkward when I do it.
Because it's hard because you care so much, but you don't want to be weird about it.
Yeah.
Like,
So you don't want to hug your damn client.
Yeah.
I ain't like over there trying to hit on this old lady,
well, yeah, no, for real. We'll go back to the partner thing in a second, but like you said a while ago, you're like, gosh, this woman or this man's like breaking down in front of you. Like, I delivered this bed to this man in town one time, and the bed I was removing was the bed him and his wife had for 10 years, and she passed away. And like how you see those people like, oh, that's a cute old couple, they're like best friends. That MFer dude and her were like this.
Linked up.
Like linked up. Like, I think they slept like interlocked with their arms. He's like, I don't have friends.
Yeah.
I don't have family in this area. I had my wife. My wife was everything to me. Everything. And that's the bed that last slept. Her imprint is still on the bed, and I kind of and I was like, oh, right there in the fields,
Yeah.
So I kind of come up and kind of give him like a side hug and stuff, and he started crying, and I was like, it's intense, but you got to realize that your customer isn't a freaking invoice number, dude, or a transaction. These are real damn people that are experiencing real shit. That day at work, their boss bitched them out, or they're arguing with their kids over something, or they're stressed about money, or this thing that you're doing for them, the roof or the furniture you're bringing in. That felt like a good idea 3 months ago, but now finances have changed and you're delivering it, and they're stressed out just about even seeing it. Or they have the issue with that's their family member that they last saw. That bed was connected to them. So that these are real life situations.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing that kind of makes me nervous about scaling and growing. It's like it's hard to find people that's going to be as passionate about your company and treat your company like you do.
And they never will be. It's because it's not their company.
It's not their company. They don't give a shit about it, right? Well, most of the time they don't. But
most people do care. There are good employees that do care and shit like that.
But it's got to be inbred into the culture. It's got to be inbred into the culture. And if it's not inbred into the culture, I see all these business owners and they get mad as shit when their employees just don't care. But hell, they're not showing a sense of care to their employees, and that's the problem. You gotta care about your fucking employees. I love my employees, man. Every Friday, man, we just have a good time in my office, man. I go by, it's crawfish season over in Mississippi, so we be doing it up at the office of crawfish. Anytime they need something, I give and give. Anytime they ask, I give because I care about them. Because without them, 3B Construction Roofing would be no more, man.
Hey, shout out to my boys, Jerry and Noah and Jay today.
Yeah.
I hear them. I'm out here just hanging out and talking to my buddy Bubba. They're up there working.
Yeah, they're working. Same here, man.
We're flapping the jaws. They're out there carrying heavy ass shit or on the roof. Or
Same. That's what my guys are. They're finishing up a roof right now, and the office staff, man, they're making shit happen, writing estimates and getting stuff out. I just took a phone call with my operations guy before I came in, man, because without them, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't be able to be here today. And I think a lot of people get, just because you have an LLC, they get self-employed and business owner confused.
Yeah.
A lot of people are self-employed. They're the prisoners to their own company. Yeah. They're locked in.
What is it like? It's a large statistic, but most people that say they're business owners, they're one employee outfits. They're self-employed. They're plumber, electrician.
Yes.
They're a one man cleaning show, whatever.
Which to me is still better than being in the rat race, because you can set your own
schedule.
You can do your own shit. But when you're in the rat race, what you're doing is you're relying on another man to sign your checks. You're hoping that the company's having money.
He's hoping he's running it like you would run it.
Yes.
So that you may get a check on Friday.
Yes.
'Cause one day it might not happen that way.
Yep. And any moment they could pull the fucking plug on you and it's game over and you're gone.
Yep.
It happened. It happened to me in 2020.
Yep.
I went from making $200,000 a year to nothing. Man, I can do about it.
And then
Game over.
If you lose a couple clients, you lost a couple clients. That sucks. But you didn't lose everything all at once.
Not at once. You can pick them. You can pick those few clients back up.
Yep.
And then same with the moving company. Man, you lose a client. Say you lost the university. Knock on wood. Ain't no damn wood right here.
Fake wood.
University tomorrow, man. You can go out. It's reobtainable to pick back up. And when you're self-employed, man, I think small towns. I know I live in a small town. You have a lot of self-employed people, and then they get so entrapped of it's like a Shark Tank to them. It's like they're scratching every job. They're scratching and they're biting for every job because that's their livelihood. They haven't sat down and took the time to figure out what their expenses are to know what kind of profits they need to make. So they're barely getting by. They're barely making a few $100 over.
And anything happens, transmission goes out the truck.
Yes.
Tools get stolen, whatever. It sets them huge.
It sets them back huge, right? And it's sad. And even at that, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like if you own a business or if you're self-employed, that you need to do some type of. I'm not saying indulge in like thousands and tens of thousands of dollars mentor. Get a business mentor. Get somebody that's going to help you understand business a little. Just because you've done a trade or you're in a craft for the last 15, 20 years doesn't mean you're going to be a good business owner or own a business and be able to operate it properly.
Really, and the thing is too, like whenever I quit my job, the guy that owned the company, he could be like, "Peace out, good damn luck quitting me. I got a good job for you here. No, he said, "Cool, let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you can have some advice." And I asked him, I said, "Well, what's some advice you'd give me going forward?" He said, "It's never as good as you think it is, but it's never as bad as you think it is either."
Mm-hmm.
So you're riding the coattails high. You got some big accounts, stuff like that. You're like, oh, everything I touch turns to gold. I'm a badass.
Yeah.
And the next day, someone punches you in the mouth. 2 guys quit. Truck breaks down, and one of your accounts says, "Hey, we went back to this other guy. He just, he happens to be a family friend." And you're like, God dang, every day at one time.
Yeah.
So, but he's right though. Not everything's as good as you think it is, but it's not as bad as you think it is either. Take everything with a grain of salt and keep moving forward.
I think that's worse than a punch. I mean, that's a straight up kick to the dick, bro.
Yeah.
That straight up kick to the dick. All that shit happened in one day. And we've had some foul ups, man. I remember my biggest, not now, but at the time it was my biggest house that I'd done to date. No rain on the. We don't touch a house if there's over 20% on the forecast, just because, man, we're down in South Louisiana, and I told my guys just watch for the rain. Rain. I mean, one fucking storm cell rode through the area, probably about a mile big, rode through the area,
On top of the house.
right over the top of that roof, out this house. It's like $1.2 million house, and homeowner ended up being cool about it. Believe it or not, I was fucking more amped up about it than he was, because my guys said, just you give them and that's probably like that right there is a bad day for us. But then I talked to other roofs. We're in a big roofing network, and then they tell me some of their horror stories and made me feel really good about my little flooded out house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where one of my buddies told me that they tore the roof off the wrong house. The neighbor's house. They took the fucking wrong roof off that son of a bitch.
It's like installing the wrong solar panels.
Yeah, what I'm saying? So, man, it's a doozy out there, man. But I think a lot of people they hear those horror stories, and that's what keeps them from running towards it.
Yeah.
And they'll just rather sit and sulk and whine about being in a miserable job for 40 years. Who the fuck wants to work for 40 years? And then they get to retire at 67, and then the average age of death is 78. Live 11 fucking years of the good life? That's not the good life, man.
100%. It's funny though. Real talk. If I would have stayed as an area manager at Dr. Pepper during the last 5 years of me running a business, I would have made more money there than I do at my own business.
Yeah.
For the fact that I was doing a couple $1 million in sales, made commission off that. That's a good job. And now, with inflation and raises, so that it'd be paying even more out now. But thinking about the shit that I've done in the last 5 years, I've been able to rub elbows with CEOs of 9-figure companies and become friends with them, and they help mentor me.
That's right.
I've made friends with people who are legit billionaires. They text me and they say, hey, I want this cabinet moving out my house. Can you? Oh yeah, no problem. What days works out for you? I'm like, oh, Thursday. Like, okay, yeah, no rush. Just whenever you can get to it, Jeremy. I've moved to Mike Huckabee, Arkansas governor. We moved Trump's family.
Nice.
So
that's big.
Yeah, and that's
Trump 2024.
Shout out. No. But real talk, like that shit you cannot get as an employee somewhere.
Mm-mm.
I mean, going around meeting, like other, big time like influencers, Stewman, those guys, Sean Whalen, those guys, stuff like that. Like, those are experiences that you can never get as just a 9-to-5 employee somewhere.
No
period. Becoming friends with you, becoming friends with my buddy Josh, works in Arizona. Like just all from networking, just meeting people, and it's so crazy the camaraderie among business owners and people who are trying to better their life. It is insane. Like, if they just know that you're trying, people that you could never get a meeting with to save your life or taking time out of their day to call you or text, hey man, how's it going? Hey, if you want to grab a drink sometime, we can talk about what you're going through right now.
That's right. And I tell you, man, it's crazy. I've gotten some of the most help when I started my company, and even still to this day, I get some of the most help, and it's not from paid mentors. It's from other roofing, storm restoration contractors, even in my own fucking market.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. They will reach out and they will give me insight, and they will give me things that they're doing that's working really well for them. Now, honestly, I say in my market, they're up in the Metro Jackson area. Yeah. But they work my market. They get a job in South Mississippi. They don't come down and work my market. They'll take a job from me in a heartbeat, which is cool. I'm cool with that.
Part of it.
But they will 100% reach out, and if I got a question, they will help me with anything. Here in Dallas, Jess Marshall, he records here. He's helped me out, man, a huge, great, like just so much over the past couple of years with my roofing company because he's somebody I leaned on.
Yep.
I asked questions to. I even offered, I'll pay you. I'm not trying to like be a kangaroo. I don't want all the free shit. Like, let me know if there's anything I can do for you. And that's like everybody, man. I don't mind paying for advice or paying for, for mentorship from them, but they don't want it. They just want to help you. They just want to help you and see you grow and get bigger and better. And I think a lot of people that own businesses, or they don't understand that concept because they've never been through what we've been through with a mentor, where the camaraderie is there, and that people just want to help you and see you win in life.
Absolutely. I'm friends with another big competitor of mine, Jacob. He owns Modern Moving. They're a great company. They have good culture, stuff like that. We always call him BS about clients, or, hey, do you have availability this week? Do you need any help? Oh man, I'm swamped, man. You'll have to do it, or or whatever, Or I had a client call me the other day, and she's like, hey, I was gonna use you guys, but my buddy, or I think his husband, something like that, I don't know what it was like. They already set up with Modern Movers, and she's like, are they good? I was like, oh yeah, don't go with them. I don't care. Go with them. They're great. I know the owner. He's a real cool guy. But I said, call me if they screw up. I'll talk to the owner.
That's funny. Yeah. Now we do that, man. We pitch our. It's hard to say the word competition because I don't look at them like competitions. There's more roofs than roofing contractors out there, but the competition, I've pitched, my buddies' roofs that, I'll be honest with you, if a client gives me too many red flags, I ain't fucking with them. I'll turn them down. I'll send them to somebody else. Yep. Like if it's too much if I feel like they're going to be too much of a headache on throughout the process, after we then gave them our process and everything we do, and it's still kind of like not tension, but like some people are just uncertain by nature. They're sketchy by nature. It doesn't matter how much you do; they're just still going to be sketched the fuck out.
Yeah, they're always skeptical of every person. Like,
everything's a scam.
There's a dollar bill involved. They're like, "This might be trying to get me."
And everybody's they're so sketched out, and like it's not by us. It's just them as nature. So we try not to deal with those clients, man, because that leads for bad Google reviews. I like my 5-star reviews.
But looking back too, like go back to everyone's baby's first influencer, Gary V. But his line a long time ago, I remember years ago, was you can build the biggest buildings in town, but it don't have to be on top of mine.
That's right.
Or vice versa, And I do agree with that all the time. Like I hope that all my competitors do well. You know why? Because that means the market's growing.
Exactly.
They're not growing just by themselves. There's more clients and customers to make money from and work with together and stuff like that. And
you don't have to shit on somebody just to get ahead in life.
Yeah, exactly. No.
And I don't think enough people understand that. We live in a dog eat dog world most of the time.
Oh, and I agree. You should always. I mean, I'm with you on that one. Hell, you used to box and then do MMA, and you all know about fighting for your place, but like. Do it, you know what I mean? Fight. Once you fight with your business, make it better. Make your employees better. Work with them to get them to the next level. You got to worry about like taking one job from your competitor. One job's not going to make or break you. Yeah. You got to worry about doing better than you did yesterday for your current customers.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, just my opinion, they get a hard on if they take a damn job from one of their competitors. It's like it's the best thing to them in the world that they were able to do that. And I'm like, wow.
$1,000 is $1,000. So no matter if it's from a competitor or just someone off the street.
Yeah. I mean, if you take it from me, I got more coming in,
Yeah.
I couldn't handle that one anyway. Congrats. Pat him on the damn back.
Other times I'll call him because like, look, I'm too swamped. Take this guy from me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So like I said, I know you personally, so I know you're going, kind of dabbling into solar. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of open to ideas, basically. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So I scaled back the business to focus on my core design and building clients. It's opened up a lot of time and resources to start exploring other avenues, to build this good base, this company here, stick with it, but then look for avenues that can grow and scale and have higher profit margins like that. Mm-hmm. So,
I know a company that's probably looking to start a roofing company up that way.
Yeah, do you know anyone good?
Looking for a good area manager up there.
I don't know anybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Let's talk off camera. No.
No, man. Yeah, so we started dabbling in solar sales, not only installs. Installs a little bit different of a ball game. Went out to Arizona. We learned that it was a little bit over our head at that point.
Yeah.
So we started doing sales, and I'll be honest with you, sales commission on solar is way higher than roofing.
Yeah.
And then when you get into the installs, well, hell, the installers make more money than the damn commission. So it's just a lot of money in it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to ignore. If you're in a service-based business like we both are, you're literally on top of the roof already.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm full of guys that want to do hard work, that enjoy it, and will thank the Lord that they'll follow me into battle where I'm going. If we're going to start a cleaning company or we're going to start a solar company tomorrow, they're down. They're going to
That's
follow
awesome,
me in,
man.
which is cool.
It's awesome to have a tribe like that.
build that loyalty and stuff like that. But just like you said earlier about you care, they care.
Yeah, if you got to build that culture though, man. You got to definitely build that culture inside the company. Well, we are looking to do a solar install team, but I think we got to get some of the red tape down around us because in the county we're in, you can only do so many kilowatts per house, so they kind of got some restrictions.
Which restricts your money because we're all paid by watts. So
By watts, yeah. 'Cause I think it's like 15, maybe 16 kilowatts or some shit, which is it's a decent unit, but I mean,
well, if you get paid 45 cents a watt, that's not too bad though.
yeah, I think that's what they were paying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
that's
too
what they were
bad.
paying. So
I think the thing is too I kind of look at solar installs very similar to how I used to do deliveries. Let's say you're XYZ furniture store. Well, you have an install team or you have a delivery team, but I come in and say, hey, when you're swamped, overflowed, you got crap going on, your truck breaks down, guys get COVID, whatever, we come in and help out. I think the issue with installing from what I've seen, and I know very little about the solar industry. I've been trying to learn more and stuff. I've just been around it because I got a lot of friends who are successful in it. So I'm just you just kind of around something, The fact is, hey, XYZ company might have 10 installs for you, but then other guy over here might have 2, other guy might have 20 for you over here as a sub, It's hard I think it's be hard to navigate that and stay consistently busy because everyone's got installs coming at the same different time. Some are the actual GC and some of them are just subbing out, And some do their own installs, some don't, some do half and half. Like Our World Energy, they do everything in-house.
yeah, I could put you in contact with a guy that I do the sales for, and they're kind of got a shortage on installers, man. I don't know about in the Arkansas area, but I know in Mississippi they're needing install teams.
Where's
in
the sign?
Mississippi. Huh?
Have vehicle will travel.
That's it. Yeah.
Hey, like back in the day when I was worked for my cousin and her husband, we sold shoe products. We went to trade shows and shit. So we went where the money went. So this is middle of the recession, 2008, 2009. Like Starbucks are closing down, malls are closing down, people are freaking out. We just went where the money's at. Mind my freaking allergy attack I'm having right now. But
that's all right, man. Get you a shot of tequila or something, clear shit right on
a little lemon drop there.
Yeah, well, you don't bite the lime, man. You gotta just squeeze it in your eye.
Oh yeah, that helps a lot because it takes away from the pressure of my nose.
That's exactly what happens. That's how I do it.
But that's what the installers. You travel around. It's no big deal. Go work for a week, come back a couple of days, go back out.
They love that shit, man. Especially if you got somebody that's used to that. I mean, and traveling. If you're a single man traveling to do stuff like that is like the best thing to do.
Oh, that's how I cut my teeth in sales in 08, 09. I was traveling around. I would sell to crowds in person, 20, 30, 40, 100 people at a time. I'd even get up on a chair and gather people around like a freaking circus going around and say, hey, I'd make up bullshit like, hey, if you 5 buy right here, I'll put you guys in a family deal. Everyone gets 20% off. And you come over here. Hey, hell, you over there. What's your name? Oh, Jim, come over here. Come over. Sit down here and try these out, Come over here, and then we'll put you on a big family deal. Everyone gets off. I mean, I probably won't make money on this damn deal, but you guys are way too cool. Sit down and try these out, Just bullshit like that.
And you would sell.
Sell it all day
That's
long.
it. And people liked you.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, I broke my teeth in the selling. I was in elementary school. We were poor.
Oh, I feel you. Let's go back to that in a second.
So my mom would buy this big bag of pretzels. And I fucking hated pretzels. And I found this one kid at school, this one little nerdy kid at school that loved him some bitch, but his mom would never buy him pretzels. So I was selling my Ziploc bag of pretzels for $1 every day, and I'd have enough money to go buy my snack at a snack machine. And that's how I got into sales, man.
Every day. Man, I tell you what.
I started selling drugs from then.
Oh, yeah. That's how we actually make money.
Shh, the roofing companies cover up. No.
Laundering. Let's go back. All right, everyone's just going to bear with me here. I was a super effing nerd back in the day when I was a kid. I'm still a nerd now. I just kind of covered up with my pretty wife. and my awesome kids.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
But I used to sell trade Pokemon and like Digimon and Dragon Ball Z cards back in the day, and we were dirt poor. So I got like one little like $3 pack of cards, like twice a year, Christmas, birthday, whatever. And like my mom was like, "How the hell you have all these cards? I didn't buy those for you. I got like a binder full of shit
stacked up."
I was like, "Well, I traded this card that no one wanted for this guy the card that did want it."
Hustling hard, I like it.
Hustling hard, now you just slowly grow. 5 cards became 10, 10 became 30.
Bro, I got into the Pokemon card for like a second, and then like I couldn't figure it out. I was always getting fucking scammed. I was always like making bad trades, and I didn't know shit about them. All these other kids, I was
looking up online like what card was worth more.
We didn't have online, man. We didn't have online. They all these rich kids, they had binders. They'd come to school with binders and stuff.
Like dragging with that backpack with wheels.
I have a damn Charizard over here. I'm getting over a fucking bullshit ass fucking
Jigglypuff.
Yeah, some shit for it, man. And I'll be trading like, yeah, it's a good one, yeah. I didn't know the damn difference. So I say, yeah, this ain't for me. Let me get the fuck out of this shit. Go back to selling pretzels
and cocaine.
Cocaine. The pretzels good? Here, get a little coke with it, dog.
You ever dipped in a cocaine?
You ever dipped into this white powder? You ever had powder coated pretzels? It'll amp you the fuck up, I'm telling you.
What is this? Oh, it's just dry cheese.
Feta. Fucking feta. Oh, fucking Parmesan cheese. Oh, great Parmesan cheese, bro.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Speaking of childhood, man, so we had a conversation earlier about, our growing up, we grew up in poverty, man. And I think...
But though, I was too poor. I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I mean, besides the fact that like I'd go to school and the kids had Doc Martens and new Jordans and crap like that.
Yeah,
and they'd have non-corduroy jeans.
Yeah,
well, I had corduroy jeans handed down from fucking 3 generations back. But besides that, I don't know. I just knew that I mostly ate good, and my mom and dad loved me when shit wasn't going down with them.
I think poverty does something. Growing up in poverty does something to people. One of a few things. It either really lights a fire under your ass to not want to be in that again the rest of your life, or it puts you in a situation where you feel like, hey, this is the best it's going to get, and you stay in that situation.
Or it makes you where you're angry at the world.
Angry at the world.
And you're mad and not entitled, but you're mad and you become a victim.
That fucking victim mentality, bro.
Yeah.
And that, I think that, I don't even think it's like now, like that was when we were younger, but now I think kids are just raised with a victim's mentality now, man. Like I don't think enough parents let their kids fall down and get themselves up.
Man, I was just about to say that kids need to fall down.
Mm-hmm.
Fall in the dirt, lose at something.
Lose.
They can't win at everything all the time.
My kid would literally fall off the trampoline, and if I didn't see any blood or bones, I'd tell him to get his ass up, get back up there. Or he would have to come to me. I went running down there to check on him.
You crawl over to me,
yeah,
son.
He could be his breath knocked out. He'd be like, come on, son, let's get over here. And who's at your mouth? Let's go. That's the problem. I think that's a huge problem is, the American values of how we grew up, and a lot of, the older generation is parents don't let their kids fall down enough and pick themselves back up. Everyone wants to assist and lift them back up. Fuck that shit.
To be fair, though, I think a lot of times nowadays parents are still recovering from their own fucked up childhood,
mm-hmm.
and they're kind of still trying to relive their glory days or live their best days with having a 7-year-old or 8-year-old, 10-year-old to raise. I feel like full disclosure, I went to like a fucking midlife crisis at 25 years old, realizing that like shit was how I wanted my life to be. I was an employee, working like 3 a.m. to like 5, 6 p.m. every day. Worked at Frito-Lay. Thankful for the job, but gosh damn, you worked hours all effing day long, 5, 6, 7 days a week. And I realized like it wasn't what I wanted my life to be. And then I look back and like you said about the childhood, the fun side of being poor is that makes you resourceful, makes you gritty, makes you resilient as fuck. But the flip side of that coin, sometimes it gets you into bad habits. It gets you into bad mindsets where you think that once you're somewhere that's safe, you want to stay there because you had never had it before. And then that safety, like of a job, employment, or a relationship that you may be in, but you don't feel like, but you're not, maybe compatible with that person, or you're not like that's not the person you're supposed to be with. You get stuck there because you never had this before. You never had the security. Men where women talk about security and men talk about women needing security. Men have the same shit.
You fucking right. We need security.
Men are just fucking as emotional as women. Don't let it get it twisted, or worse. Whatever.
Don't think this big burly motherfucker don't shed a tear every once in a while. It ain't often, but every once in a while I'll shed a tear.
Yeah.
And it's because emotions, bro. Like I'm an emotional person. I'm a passionate and emotional person.
Yep.
Just like you were saying, and men need that as well. But I don't think it's get emphasized enough on men.
No, it doesn't too. And I think a lot too. I think in the entrepreneur space, it's a weird world, but like the self-development and entrepreneur space, I feel like the battle wounds are glorified, but not in the way they should be glorified. Like everyone's saying, was that line off at 8 Mile? He was like, he went to so and so. That's a private school,
Yes.
But they look like they make it like, oh well, we didn't have shit. We grew up dirt poor, and now I'm a millionaire. And it turned out that Daddy made $120,000 a year, Mommy made $150,000 a year, and they lived in a nice house in the suburbs. Just be honest. Be you.
honest.
You can talk about how hard it was to break out of that safe haven you're in and into a business or into this or not going into the same field your dad went into or whatever. Just like we can talk about being poor, that's saying, hey, like I talked about last night, I'm not going to throw mom and dad under the bus and say, oh, my childhood was just so effing miserable and, dad did this or mom did this or, my uncles did this or whatever so that I can get social media clout. But at the end of the day, grew up poor. You grew up poor. You grew up without a dad.
Yep. That shit ran out on me.
Yep.
Then when the son bitch died, I had to go take care of all this stuff down there.
No, just a double-edged sword, huh? Just
Double-edged sword,
get you
man.
twice.
It got me down.
Get you the front and the back side.
Eesh.
But you can appreciate the good that came from it without realizing that, hey, I was in a effed up situation. Those situations as a kid did make me make poor decisions as a young adult due to the regimented habits, life of influence. I hate saying PTSD because I'm not some doctor. I can diagnose my shit, whatever.
Yeah.
But saying like the trauma as a child,
Yeah.
the seeing the mom and dad have physical crazy ass fights, having shit thrown to the wall and see that you seeing that stuff, and then you realize when you get home, when you get to your first relationship or first serious relationships, you see parts of that come out and you're like, oh fuck. And then you realize they're like, hey, you convince yourself, oh, just we'll stick together one more week. One more week we'll work it out. One more week we'll work it out. Then you're stuck and you realize, what the hell are we doing here? Like I'm doing the same shit my parents did,
Yeah, next thing you know, you're 8 years in, 2 kids later.
Yep.
I think I've been through that, and I think when you got to make that hard decisions, like, all right, this is just simply not working. I stayed in a similar situation like that for way longer than I should have. Grateful for my two babies, but it I think a lot of it had to do with watching my mom do it for 15 years with my stepdad. She
stuck it out.
She wanted security for us kids because before he came on the scene, my mom was a waitress at a local truck stop, making $8,000 to $10,000 a year to take care of us. Living off the government. It's kind of how we grew up. And then she met him and he had a good job, and I think she stuck it out. My mom always had a thing for alcoholics and really verbally abusive or abusive men,
Because
and
she's used to that.
she was used to that with my biological
It's
dad.
safe.
Yeah. And she stuck in it for so long. And then, I found myself in relationships staying in there longer than I should have because of that. I wanted security for my kids. I love my babies more than anything. And I didn't want them to go through the broken household or living in a broken situation like I did.
Yep.
But in the end, the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing
What's
them a
worse?
disservice
Yes.
when they got to sit here and witness this every fucking day. I don't want my kids ever to grow up and think this is normal for a relationship.
Oh, absolutely. That's a damn good point. You gotta make them, show them the standard of how a relationship should be. But real talk too. Just full disclosure. If I would have been a better leader when I was younger, if I wasn't so just all over the place emotionally and with my goals and my focus, I would have been either those relationships would have either been better, or they would have been at least to a better place of resolve quicker.
I like that.
It's not always the man, it's not always the woman.
That's right.
It takes two.
It does take two.
And I even admitted, a while back with my ex, she's married now. Actually, both my exes are married now. This is great for them. They're happy, and it's awesome. And I was telling,
Y'all in a good spot now, right?
oh yeah.
That's good.
I'm very blessed. I was talking to Mia's mom, Susan, and I told her, I said, man, to be honest, if I was in a better spot and I was a better leader, we would have probably never had those fights. I would have either not egged you on, or I would have figured out a way to be more mature about it, or just walk away, come back, and we talk together or something like that. And it takes two to fight.
It does.
One of y'all are fighting.
Yes,
One of y'all
sir.
are either egging it on, and one might be slinging, but one's still trying to catch it, throw it back.
Yeah.
So
It's always a tick for tack thing. I always seen that's kind of how the arguments went, and that it was always a tick. Oh, you did this. Oh, well. Oh, you did this. And I always went back and forth, and it was really childish and immature, and still going through some things now that I wish could resolve quicker. And just like you said, if I was just if I would have probably be a little less egotistical, because I am fucking full of testosterone and egotistical
sometimes
shit.
sometimes even though I'm really laid back, I want things my fucking way.
True,
And
bro.
I'm super laid back as long as it goes my way.
True, man. Same, man. So, but the biggest blessing is, growing up without my dad, and my dad being an alcoholic and a drunk, abusing my mom before I can even remember, is he taught me the best lesson in life, and it was not how to be a parent. And even, my mom, she's had her, like I said, me and my mom have a great relationship. I love my mom to death. She's made some poor choices, which at the time she thought were, the only choices she had.
Yeah.
And when you see that growing up and you look back on it, I'm blessed by all the choices, the poor choices she's made, because it made me who I am today. Because I don't feel like if I would have went through what I went through with my parents or the childhood, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have the drive and determination
Absolutely.
to be a hard motherfucking worker,
Oh yeah. Think about this too. Like, think about your mom. We touched on this last night for a second. There are a lot, especially in the South, in the Midwest where we're from, a lot of women get into situations and they don't have any power. They haven't worked in 10 years. They might not even have a car. You might have one car for the family, and the husband takes it to work.
Yeah.
And they're genuinely stuck in situations. And then on the flip side of that coin, a lot of men, like our father's age, that 40, 50, 60-year range, they are a product of that generation's parenting, which was not parenting, which just beat you to death until you do what they want.
Yeah.
That's not parenting.
Yeah, that's not
Period.
parenting at all.
And my dad was just a product of his multiple stepdads beating him all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all that is.
That's all he knew.
Or maybe your dad was the same way. I'm not trying to give excuses but I'm trying to give reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole lot more options that we have nowadays than they did have 10 years ago, 30 years ago.
True.
For the fact that, a mom now can go back to school online. A mom can start a business doing shit online. A dad who wanted to start a plumbing business, well, he can actually now learn more trades and skills or ways to make that plumbing business better because he's got internet now. Or he can go ask people for advice. Shit, 30, 20 years ago, you didn't ask people for advice.
Mm-mm.
And you know what? And I was raised that if someone had money, they usually got it from stealing or they got it handed down to my mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
And then I realized when I get older that was like 91% of millionaires are first generation millionaires. You know, like, hey, I'm 30 years old, millionaire. That's the first time in my family. Ain't no one gave me anything, you know, stuff like that. And you realize that those are just bad habits and bad mindsets passed down because his dad said, oh, that guy that owns that ranch and that fuel station and those acres of land back there, well, daddy just gave that to him. Mm-hmm. But really, probably not. Maybe he just worked for it.
Somewhere in their line of lineage, or I think that's even the fucking word I'm looking for. Somewhere along the line in their family, somebody had to put in the fucking work
To change
at
that
some
shit.
point to change that trajectory of their family. And it's got to start with somebody. And if nobody ever does it, then you just go through this long line of, you know, excuses and playing this victim of, oh, Uncle John, John down there, like you said, at the gas station, all that shit got handed to him. Well, maybe John's great-grandpa, maybe he came over
Be
here.
the one.
He was the motherfucker that put in the work.
Be the motherfucker.
Yeah, be that motherfucker in your family. Be that motherfucker to put in the work. Get yourself out of whatever rut you in, because if you don't, you'll keep making excuses to the day you die. And if you die on a if you die on a bed of regrets of things, you're laying there, just laying there on your deathbed, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have did X, Y, and Z different on a bed of regrets. That is the worst possible fucking way to die.
I think added to that, I think I can die on a bed of failure, but not a regret. Failure knows that I went out there and fucking tried.
That's it.
I give it my all.
100%. And a lot of people are scared to fail. That's why they never try.
Yep. If one day, at the end of the day, I don't have my McLaren in the parking lot or my big Raptor R or some shit, a big house, hey, at least I'll know that I gave it my all.
That's it. And then you were happy doing it, man. I think staying happy while chasing after that.
You're absolutely right. Go with that, yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't, a lot of people get caught up in chasing, and they're just fucking miserable at the end of the day. They put in 16 hours a day. You can only work so many fucking 16, 18-hour days
before you get pissed.
Before you get fucking mad. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck how much you grind, how much you hustle. Like, I'm a hustler all day. There's only so many days you could put in that type of hours without just fucking completely fading out and saying, you know what, I need a fucking break. I need to scale back. I need to figure out what I need to do because I'm just miserable right now. I know I'm building and I'm working towards something, but I'm just fucking miserable. Gary V, I have mixed emotions about
Mr. V, yeah.
Theo Vines calls him Jerry V. But I have mixed emotions about that. I have mixed emotions about that dude because he does give some good insight, but then he also gives some really piss poor advice. I think
that's not really applicable.
It's not applicable to anybody.
To normal shit.
Yeah, to normal shit, to life. You know, and he's talking from a place of. I feel like sometimes he talks from a place of poverty, but he's never been poverty. You know,
he's been poverty for 50 years.
Yeah, that's what
it's
I'm
been
saying.
a long time.
You know what I'm saying?
As a kid, he was sure, but not now.
Yeah, but I'm saying
not for a long.
It's
long
hard
time.
to give that perspective to somebody, to a 18-year-old kid who's mom's a waitress and his dad's an alcoholic that don't work. You know, they living off of one income. It's hard to give advice to that person. You know what I'm saying?
Because there's not really a starting point there. And what you talked to a while ago is like be happy in the journey. Alex Ramosi and Andy Priscilla had this podcast last week. It was a fire podcast. But man, they made some fucking great points. He said, every day that you're having is the good old days. He was saying, he's like, you're going to look back and yeah, like me and Darren talk about all the time. We're talking about, damn, remember that one time that we did that move and then we did that delivery and then someone called us at like 8 o'clock at night or it was like, I think 6 o'clock at night. Hey, we've been trying to call moving companies all day long. The movie company that we had scheduled flipped their fucking truck on the way here. So we have no truck. We had to be out tonight. So we call and so we're like, Darren and I look at each other like, oh, this is going to suck. Because it's all like 7 o'clock or some crap. Yeah. It was piss poor rain all day long. It was about 37 degrees, so just not quite snow, but cold as hell.
Sleet as hell, yeah.
And we worked until 3:30 that morning, moving them out of that house. And then at 6:30, we had to wake up and do our next contract. You know, and then work in the rain all day long again. But we talk about that now. We're like, oh my God, can you remember that one night, you know? And then we had nights like that 5 days a week, you know what I mean? When we first started out, shit. And looking back though, now my business is a lot more controlled, you know, with that saying like, you know, because it's like those guys that we work with now, they work 8 to 5 and they're regimented, they have schedules now. But when we were first starting out, Anybody and everybody is a customer.
Yeah, I know. That's how we was, man. So you're trying to scratch and grind and trying to get just your name out there. I think it's a big thing, just getting your damn name out there. And once you have that, which I mean, I was blessed. I had a pretty decent following on Facebook that helped me with that. You know, was able to help me get my name out there. You know, but aside
Well,
from
that's what happens when you. How much weight did you lose to make that fight in time?
like fucking went from 280 to 215 in 2.5
Yeah, it's like 65
months.
pounds, right? Like you had to lose it.
And I did that all natty, no methamphetamine involved. So
sure?
yeah, crazy, but crazy. I did that natural. Now, just a lot of hard work, man. It was a mental thing. It gets back to your mental.
Was it like
capacity.
3 months you did that?
2.5. Went May 20th to August 5th. So every 10 or 12 weeks, something like that.
But the equivalent of that, in the business world, that helped you in the business world because you got that fight, you got that notoriety, people knew who the fuck you were. Your fight got a lot of views on ESPN and YouTube and stuff like that. But the same equivalent of that, if you're like a car guy, they always say there's no replacement for displacement. In the real world, in the entrepreneurial world, there ain't no fucking replacement for hard work.
You're right.
People, you're going to get a lot of our crowd are either starting out or they have small businesses and stuff like that. And they're going to be talking about, you need to do this foo-foo bullshit where you need to take a cold shower, you need to write in your journal every morning, you need to do this and that. But in the day, pounding the damn streets, like you said, get your damn name out there. That's what fucking matters.
That's it, pound the streets and beat the doors, man. You got to put in the fucking work. Fuck making your bed every morning. It takes up too much time. You're killing time at that point.
I can't make my bed anyway. My wife make it on top of her.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to just put in the time and hard work, and that's the only way I made the weight for the fight was hard work. It's the only way I built my company. And I built my company was hard work, and I only learned about the hard work because I grew up in the situation I grew up in. I had to hustle. I didn't want to live in that situation, so the only way out of that situation I knew was hard work.
Yep.
And I kind of leaned on my grandpa for that because early on I stayed the summers with my grandpa. My grandpa instilled hard work into us.
That's awesome.
So if it wasn't for that, and I think I got that over my siblings because I spent a lot of time with my grandpa. My grandpa was just an old farmer, man, and he was a tough old bastard too. And he didn't take no shit. You just worked hard. Before the sun came up till the sun went down, you worked. You're either fucking feeding animals, or you're working in the garden. You were doing X, Y, and Z. You wasn't taking no damn breaks.
Yeah, I remember graduation night. Good man. I was like crying senior night. We're doing our thing. Everyone's hugging her mom and dad, so like that. And I remember one line I told my dad. I hugged him and I said, "Thank you for teaching me how to work hard." Because I was in track that year. I won state championship in track and state championship in cross country, and running. I was a poor kid. That's the only thing I could do. That was my workout. I just did that, and I taught him. I was taught by him that I was just thankful that he taught me how to do that. You know what I mean? A lot of people are always like, "Oh, don't push too hard, man. You're easy out there. You're doing too much. You're working out in the rain. You're doing, you're running before school." I'd run to school, and then I'd go to basketball practice, and then shower at school, and then go to class, But, it's 3 miles to school, and then I'd run home in the evenings or whatever. I'd have my buddy, it's throw my backpack in my road when he passed by,
Nice.
Stuff like that. But hard work, man. I think the thing is, too, though, I think a lot of people get wrong advice along their journey, and it's not saying wrong advice right now. It's wrong advice right now, but in maybe 6 months it might be the right advice. So you want to, in my opinion, you can't, if you don't learn how to work hard, you can't learn how to work smart.
Ooh, you hit the nail on the head.
Once you get to that point, then you can refine it, and by being more efficient and working smart and working more intelligently and trying to put in new strategies to get better, but all the foundation is hard work.
Nobody puts in enough emphasis on working smart. I think they just get the work hard and they just try to work hard. And they end up working hard at the wrong thing for too long, and they never put in any time to start working smarter and be more efficient. Whether it's through process and procedures, shit of that nature. It's they just constantly work hard, and they always wonder why they stay in the rut, and they never get out the rut because they never put in the time to start working smarter. Maybe you're doing a job. Maybe your first 3 years of your business, you're having to be that guy that works on every job. Yep. But if you don't ever change to hire somebody, train that somebody, pay them a decent salary to do that for you. You know, assist them. Then you'll always that 3 years is going to turn into 30 years.
And you'll be stuck there in that rut.
Stuck there in that damn rut because you never took the time to working hard at being smarter. You know, like we say, work smarter, not harder. That's that Fugazi shit. It's both. It's a both. You got to work smart and you got to work hard.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent. You got to be dedicated. It's a whole bunch of shit goes into one to be successful, and it's not just a one thing. But you're right. Working hard is the base foundation of success, in my opinion. Because without that, the consistency, working, you don't get none of that you just got to put in the work. You just got to put in the hours. Sometimes service-based, it doesn't matter what it is. You got to put in the work.
Yep. I remember we were working so much all the time that Darren, it'd be hard to see my kids. So Darren, we'd be in the truck. We'd been working since 8 a.m. or whatever. It'd be like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Darren would sit in the truck while I brought my kids to the park for like an hour and a half or something. I'd go meet her at the apartment park, and we'd go and I'd play with Mia for like an hour and a half or something, and then get back in the truck, go in, then go work till 10.
That's awesome.
But so props to Darren and props to Susan for meeting me with Mia so I could do that.
That's awesome, man.
But that's just like part of it. But now looking back though, if I would have applied the working smarter earlier, you can't grind your way out of fucking everything. You can't. And looking back, if I would have had pricing, if I would have priced my shit right, I wouldn't have had to work so damn hard, and sometimes work so damn hard for free. You know,
Yeah.
Work all night long, work all day long, and be like, wow, we made $4 on that job because
Bro, that's so disheartening, bro. When you do shit like that, or taking a big loss.
Yeah, and then you realize that no amount of grinding hard can just generate more money.
You're right.
If it's on the same job, no one's gonna tip you on the invoice.
You ought to put that on your invoice. It's like a little tip section. Like, throw me a little tip on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Up your prices. That'd be a tip.
Gratuity.
20%
added.
Yeah. You think people get pissed about that?
Yeah.
Fuck. Can you add tax?
Not on service-based stuff unless I sell them something.
Shit. Sell them your time, bro.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah. That's how, like, on our tarping invoices, that's all we can charge for is on our tarping, like our material we charge tax on, but we're able to get a little extra change that way off of what we're charging.
Till you have to pay it out.
Till I got to pay that Uncle Sam, and they don't hit me up. They just hit me up. That's write them bastards a check. Got me.
There's one benefit though. If you don't make money, you have to pay taxes.
I know. I was confused. I was confused on it, but damn IRS calling my phone. I'm like, you sure you got the right company? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We actually lost money last year.
Yeah. Let me get them done.
This Rolls Royce don't drive itself.
I'll be honest with you. I need to get with a good tax person. I hadn't done taxes since 2019. I'm in a bind. Help me out. No, we're good.
Where's what's his name? Trevor and them, and the real business owners.
Yeah.
They're accounting service. Real accounting.
Kale, help your boy out. Past all that, man, and this is something I probably want to ask everyone, but what do you truly define success as?
Having the options to do what you want with no limitations. And I mean limitations of money, time, resources, flexibility, communication with people that you need to do it with. Like real success is going to be like, hey, we can't go to that concert tomorrow because I have to work. Real success would be like, oh, I got tickets VIP because I know this guy that works the venue. And then we're going there because I have enough money in the bank that it doesn't fucking matter if I'm off. I'm not going to work tomorrow.
That's right.
Or your kid needs dance lessons, or they want to do gymnastics, or or when they get older, they need a car, this and that. Real success is there's not an option. The option is I do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And far from that, but I mean, real success is that to me. And and it doesn't mean private jets to me or Bugattis. Real success to me is like, hey, if I go to Thanksgiving and I'm driving my new Raptor or whatever, Dad's got a new truck too, or Mom's car is not breaking down, or my sister is not driving her broke down Mazda to work, and I'm pulling up in $100,000 pickup. They're pulling up in nice vehicles too because I was able to help them out as well. I think that one thing that people don't realize about growing up poor is that it gets real awkward if you're the only one being successful and you're the only one benefiting from it. What did someone said, like one podcast I was listening to, that why like a lot of people in the Jewish community are successful is because when they get successful, they make sure everyone else in the community is successful. They don't like drag each other down or get pissed at someone else's success. They actually celebrate it, and then they all kind of work off it together, you know?
Yeah, not like a bunch of crabs in a bucket.
Yeah, exactly. So success to me is that, you know, my immediate circle doesn't want for anything or need anything.
I think that's a big thing with me too, man. I hate seeing some of my loved ones still struggle while I'm on my climb, which, you know, another big thing you touch base on is time. Time is that's all I worked for, man. It's for more time with my loved one, with my kids. I think when you have an immense amount of time to do whatever the fuck you want without having to answer to anybody.
Every football game,
yeah,
every wrestling match.
So I'm in sync with you there because time's a huge thing. Money's replaceable, cars replaceable, this clothes on our backs replaceable, that water, everything's fucking replaceable, but time is not replaceable.
I want to touch on something right there, like I talked about a while ago about meeting me at the park, or, you know, Addie at the park, or doing this right here whenever I was building the business up. Work on shit, work on yourself, go to the gym, read your books while building your business, because too many times when you first start building your business, everything is growth mode, everything is concentrated on the business. I have to get this off the ground. Oh, I'm gonna hit the next dance recital when my business hits here because I'll have employees in place. I won't miss another one. I won't miss another one. No, fuck the business tonight. Go to the dance recital or go do that thing with the kids. I made too many mistakes like that when I first started. It's like I kept going like it was a finite or a finish line. Business is never going to be a finish line. If you're in it for the long haul, there's never going to be a time that I get to quit. I always have to go. But guess what? You should never quit on your family. Quit on that time with your loved ones, your time with your parents, or your time with your homies or your kids or your wife or loved one, for the fact that that business is always going to be there. If you have to miss your your son's football game or wrestling game or your daughter's gymnastics thing, whatever, and you have to miss that to gain a client, that's not a fucking good client to have. And I learned that after a while, that sacrificing that time with the kids or my family or my mom and dad or something like that or my sisters, it wasn't worth the clients.
It's not as detrimental, man. It's like
it's not as bad as you think it is. Like, if, oh my God, if I don't go tonight, I'm going to lose them forever. No,
Yeah.
I'll call you tomorrow.
They'll call you tomorrow. And people forget that most people, not all, most people are understanding. Hey, little man, I'd love to get to this tonight. I'd love to get this estimate done for you tonight, but my little boy's got a football game in an hour, and I hate
And
to
to do
mess
your estimate correctly, I'm going to have to spend a little bit more time up here with you.
Yeah, so, you know, I think if you're honest with people and kind of just straightforward, they'll understand. And if they choose to go with somebody else because you got something to do for your family, then fuck them anyway. They don't need to be your client. They're not somebody that wants my client anyway.
Yep.
That's how I look at it. So I'm right there with you, bro.
And, you know, like, I think too many people just keep saying, oh, when I get here. What you hear a lot, you know, in our world, oh, when I get here, I'm going to do this. When I get there, I'm going to do this. Do that shit along the way, you know. Recently, 4 or 5 months ago, I had a really good job offer from a well-respected company, growing well, good ownership, good leadership, good culture. It was a very good job. And mentor offered it to me to give me advice and stuff. He gives me business advice all the time, and I really appreciate it. And they gave me they said, you know what? He said, fuck it, why don't you just come work here? Get you a new truck, start at the gate, insurance, you know, benefits, vacations. You'll make 6 figures your first year. You maybe make higher, you know, 175 next year, you know. I'm like, God dang. You know what I mean? You're like sitting there going, I can get rid of all these phone calls, all this stress, all this payroll, all this taxes, trucks breaking down, employees not coming to work. I just got to worry about me. And you're like, damn. And I thought about it, you know, who doesn't think about a good offer? You know, an offer's an offer,
True
especially a good one. And in my area, I live very frugally, or whatever you want to say. Like, I don't need a lot. I'm not bougie. I don't need fancy shit. So that kind of money is great money, especially when I don't, you know, I don't have any bad habits. I'm not doing cocaine every night. I don't have anything expensive.
That Coke could take it. So I ain't never
done it before, but
I never indulged in it. But I hear
from
takes
a buddy.
a lot of money.
But I was thinking about that, and I called him up one day, and I said, "Man, I appreciate that offer. Really do, really respect it. That's a hell of an offer. That just get it, instead of the bar having a beer, drink with him." And I say, "But I got too much fight left in me, so I'm gonna steer the course, And then I started thinking about that. I said, "Man, if I did decline that offer, then I need to go all in on me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to stop making these excuses that, well, I work a physical job like you do. You're on the roofs doing the estimates, you're climbing about, you're walking around job sites all day long. You can make excuses about not going to the gym or not going to play at the park with your kids, stuff like that." And I realized, I said, no, if I'm going to decline offers like that, then I need to start making sure I'm going all in on me. So I've been starting reading every day. I wake up every morning at 4:30. I go to the gym. I try to be more present. I try to go in all and spend more time with the kids and stuff, my family.
That's awesome. Bro.
And because you realize that, like, if you decline offer, if you miss opportunities like that right there, you're like, well, if I'm going to forgo that opportunity but still lead this hum-ho lifestyle, then what the hell did I miss up on that opportunity for,
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a call the other night, one of my customers. I didn't have anything plans with family. I didn't have anything going. It was like later night. I was already working. And he called me. He's like, "Can you do this job?" And I was like, "Yes, I can do it." You know why? He's like, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't need to do the job, but I need to work this business every day like it was my first day in business."
That's right.
So if you're going to decline jobs, if you're going to decline money, now there's always some jobs you should say no to, always. But if you're going to decline shit that's being offered to you, why are you in business? Someone else would love to have your position. They'd love to go do that job. They'd love to have that opportunity in their business. They'd love to have someone call them about do to mow these lawns or to roof this roof or to clean these houses. So you need to be appreciative of those phone calls and fucking service them and do them like you're supposed to do them, like it was your first day. I said, man, Jeremy in 2019 would have been salivating to go do this job and be crying. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it at midnight. I'll do it blindfolded if you want me to, And so you still need to have that fire in your, even though as you get more refined and you have a better base and you grow and you're in an opportunity where you can kind of pick and choose jobs. You don't know this economy,
So fucking
like
wild.
every dollar counts right now. You know what I mean?
So wild, man.
You don't know what's going to happen. So take advantage of the opportunities you have.
That's what we capitalize on that. In our training with my reps is that they have to just keep the clients first, and that they have to work every day like it's their first day on the job, because that keeps them driven. I think 'cause everybody's out the gate gun ho, man. Everybody's really gun ho. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and then 3 months into it, you're like, let me put my foot off the gas a little bit. I done made $10,000 this month in commission. Let me put my foot off the gas. Hell no, motherfucker, put that bitch to the floor.
Yep, that's when you need. That's when you need to double down.
Yeah, that's when you need to double down. Fuck that 10, make 20.
Yep. Because hell, next month you might not make fucking none.
That's right. I mean, hell, something might happen next month. I might even get no calls.
Mm-hmm.
My SEO guy might shit the bed. I might not. My ranking on Google might drop. I might be at the bottom of the pecking order at that time. You never know what's going to happen. So you got to take advantage now. Just never take your foot off the gas.
Oh yeah.
All gas, no brakes.
Yep, absolutely, man. Especially with interest rates go up again. Mr. Powell might be throwing another wrench in our plans again, or he might dial it back. But if he jumps them up a point or whatever like that, it's gonna be another gut punch to the economy. And that's another in our world. If you're not building houses or putting roofs on houses, I'm probably not moving them as much. You know what I mean?
That's right. It's all a chain reaction, man.
Yeah, we're all together. So you need to take every dollar as you can. And that leads me to another point. My mentor that runs that large tech company, a good friend of mine, he gave me some really good advice last year, because I was like, God, I said, we're always growing, man. This is great, We're always adding employees and leasing more trucks like that, And this is before when I was in a partnership and stuff, we had more resources and stuff. But I said, we're always broke, man. It sucks. I said, I'm doing all this work. We're doing like $20,000 a week in revenue, And he was like, there's no shame in trying to just tapping the brakes. I'm not saying you pull the e-brake or anything like that, but he's saying there's no shame in stopping and collect some checks, gather your resources, cash out a little bit like that, because and then let yourself grow a little bit more organically.
Yep.
Because if you're always growing and always scaling, unless you're got some VC money somewhere, or you're running an app or a tech service, some shit like that. Us, service-based companies, shit like that, means when we add, we're putting out dollar bills. If you want to add a truck and a crew, you're adding, $7,000, $8,000 more a month in expenses or some shit. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need to take a step back and work on the clients you've got and put some money in the damn bank.
We do that, man. Like, it depends on what the bank account. We got like a certain number. We don't like to let our bank account get below, and we get close to that damn number. We're like, all right, because sometimes insurance money it runs slow. Sometimes some damn checks come in slow, and if you got
you're too tight on that shit coming in.
Yeah, so
you might have to be floating a lot.
If you done did, say 15 jobs, and you're floating, say if you're just floating like $1,000 on each job out of your general fund, your shit might get low. And then, so we have to scale back with some insurance money comes in and start scaling on jobs again. But, we're working our way out of that. We looked up and our bank ended up giving us a pretty hefty line of credit just in case we needed it.
It's there.
It's there. We finally got credit lines with our suppliers. We didn't have that early on. Everything was cash accounts. Those are tough to run, man, especially when you're running slim margins because we didn't know how to run our numbers to begin with. So we worked a lot of the kinks out, man, and I think moving forward, it's going to be more beneficial. 2023 is going to be a good year for us, and then 2024, and then we'll move on to whatever. But
that's not to scare people. That's not to scare people from not growing anything like that.
No, definitely.
I'm just saying, like, know when to tap them and know when to just hammer down.
That's it. And I don't think a lot of people I think people are too scared to pull their foot off the gas just a little bit. I'm not going to watch my company fall because maybe I'm overspent on some stuff or something. We're gonna make the shit happen. But now we're good. But don't let that shit hold you up. If you got good credit, you can go get that line of credit right off the bat. We had to wait until we built our business credit to do it. So we had to. It took us a little minute, but we got there.
Yep. And as you grow your business and you get contacts and stuff like that, there are going to be people that realize the shit that you're doing, and they're going to get behind it. And they're not going to, a lot of people that know what you're doing, they get behind your message and your business, and they know that you have a big business or a good business. They're not going to let you fail.
That's right.
There's going to be a bank that gets behind you. There'll be a private lender that knows you and see what you're doing, and they'll look at your books. They're like, look, you just hit a rough patch, man. Let me loan you this $30,000, $40,000, just to get you through this, and you'll be right back to your 6 figures a freaking week.
And it's just you gotta get, and at that time it just takes building those relationships.
Yep.
Relationship just isn't with clients; it's with everything in business. Everything you touch is all about relationships. So,
and then it's kind of like, I know we're probably starting wrapping up here soon, but I want to say, you need to look into your business and see what clients are just spinning your wheels on, what you're just staying busy with, and which ones you're making money with. I used to think, like you talked about before, like every, my competitor to this, my competitor to that, every customer I don't have is one they have. It's going to take my ship down, you know what I mean? But in reality, there's some customers you don't need to have. And we touched on this last night, say 80% of your revenue comes from like 20% of your customers. I won't say it's quite like that, but it's a good kind of number to look at.
That's right.
To look at. And I was doing all these furniture contracts and doing all this busyness, and we're putting on $2,000 a week of payroll just to run these contracts and all this fuel because we only had one truck running to do those. So there's not like we could be more efficient, which just wasn't that way. And we were not doing the jobs that we could do with our builders and designers and stuff. And that's where the money was at. So we cut those out. Our revenue hasn't dropped. It actually went up.
That's it, man.
Because we just work on the customers that actually need to be worked on.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then my payroll went down. So
it's funny how that works.
And my fuel bill.
Just whenever you start readjusting some things, people don't readjust, man. They'll never know. You readjust some things work out for the better. That's what we did, man. You just got to readjust. You got to take a pivot and readjust sometimes. And that's what I think a good seasoned business owner. 5 years. Pretty seasoned at this point. I know you're just getting started still, but still seasoned. I'm just getting started.
It's like that app that used to age you a couple years ago. It came out. I was like, 2 years in business.
Age, old liver spotted hands and shit. So Jeremy, where can people find you at online? If they want to reach out to you, they want to gain some more insight from. Where can they reach out to you at online?
Really, man, I'm like pretty focused on Facebook right now. I've been slacking. I will say this right here, like we talked about, build your lifestyle as you're building your business. Like build your relationships with your kids and spend that time working on yourself, working out, reading your books. I've been really trying to get active on Facebook. We're working on Instagram. I'm probably going to have a TikTok soon, but really it's Jeremy Chaplic on Facebook. This Day with Jay on Instagram. as I work towards building more channels and stuff.
Nice. Okay, cool. Video content. Got any video content out there they can check you out on?
Not yet. Working on it. I do want to build like what we talked about before. Like I know there's a lot of our people that are out there that every day in that rut that, you know, my one truck does $250,000, $300,000 a year in revenue, which would be life changing for someone who's making $30,000 a year at a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that with a pickup truck and a cargo trailer, you know, and I'm going to dive down to that pretty soon and start showing people how I built that business with very little upfront money and just hard work pounding the streets and stuff.
TikTok, bro.
Yep. That's actually what I talked about too. I was actually talking about Buddy the other night. I was like, man, I need to get on the TikTok train. Bro, it just is what it is. I need to.
Shit goes so viral on there, man, quick. I dropped a clip from one of the podcasts, just a clip that they were just scratching the nuts of 200,000 views or some shit.
Oh yeah, man.
You know, you don't get that kind of exposure on Facebook.
No, not at all. And then I want to be able to help our everyday person,
Yes.
you know, like this. You know, starting a moving company is not something like some big VC is going to be like, oh, I'm so excited about this opportunity. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if I can get behind a guy that's already got a pickup truck that he uses to haul his lawnmower around town or whatever to his parents' house or some shit, you get a cargo trailer, you get a little box truck right there. It's very little startup cost to get it going. And then if you did a couple deliveries a day for your local furniture store in the afternoons after you get off work, that's another $1,000 a week. Tell me $1,000 a week would not change most people's lives.
Shit, you just do shit. Just say if you did just 40 weeks out of the year, man, that's an extra $40,000 right there.
Yep.
That's life-changing money for people.
Probably to generate that with your payroll on that, because a couple deliveries only a couple hours of payroll a day to somebody. You can even pay them per piece, so it keeps out of your actual, there's no set number you have to pay somebody. You could pay them per piece or a salary per item or whatever. And it keeps your costs finite, and you know exactly what you're going to be paying out. That'd be $7,000, $8,000 expenses, a couple $1,000 for fuel and insurance. There you go. Made $30,000 extra that day or that year. If you got a business or a job that's doing $30,000 or $40,000 a year, you doubled your income for the year.
Doubled your income. Life changing, bro.
Yep. Now your wife gets to hang out with the kids, maybe at home more.
Yeah.
She gets to work part time, and you work a little extra.
Take her ass out to that nice steakhouse you be wanting to take her to.
Yep. And then the next year you do $80,000 in it. You know. So it's definitely things I would have looked at more when I first started my business, doing it part time instead of going heels first into the wood grinder.
Yeah, man. I think that's the roughest part, man. Trying to make those decisions. When to get out. Do I quit, or do I just like go get balls deep with it and go all in from the get go? And that's what we did.
And it's all what that decision is 100% based on your pain tolerance, what you can handle.
Yep.
Even people I know that are multi-millionaires, their pain tolerance is, say, I got to have this number in the bank, or I get stressed the hell out. Think about what you can handle, and then build your lifestyle around that.
That's me. If my bank account gets to a certain number,
you're like, ugh.
Stress level is through the fucking roof. It was great to have you on, Jeremy, man. Like I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate our friendship. Or us networking throughout the years, man. You've been definitely a shining light in my life, and I know you've been a shining light in people's life here today with some insight that you gave them. Check them out on Facebook, check them out on Instagram, and we're out.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man. Thanks for your time.
Jeremy's full of compassion and empathy when it comes to his clients. Loving, caring family man. Looking forward to him and his endeavors in the solar install industry. If you would, please give us a like, share, and follow on Facebook at Blue Collar Alliance. And if you're a blue collar worker and would like to be on the show, drop some knowledge, some wisdom, get balls deep with us, reach out to me on Facebook. Hey man, thanks for watching. See you next time.